What's up, everybody? We are back with another edition of UFO Disclosure with your host, Ryan Sim, coming from the UFO desk here in Canada. Um, wow, 2 weeks. They said it was going to be released in 2 weeks. Today is May 22nd, 2026. This morning, boom, another dump of files was released. This time, some pretty cool stuff. Uh, let's just dig into it. Now, I think a lot of you are, I don't know how to say this. So there was a May 22nd, about 80 videos were released, around 226 files, which is amazing. Yet I still have people saying, "Oh, look, it's all pixelated," or "Oh, I don't have time for that." I'm shocked. I'm shocked because we literally have the Department of War, in conjunction with the FBI, CIA, and other official government agencies, finally going, "Here are the formerly classified videos of anomalous objects from official military resources." And then the media is kind of like, cool. And then they move on. Now, Fox News was doing this crazy thing where they showed that some people claim that there's four different types of biological entities: the Greys, the Reptilians, the Nordics, which are just really, really tall, pale, blonde hair, blue eyed things, and the insectoids, which look like um, praying mantises. However, that's not been breaking the news. This was on Fox News live. It's talking about allegedly, Hal Puthoff is on here. He's a legend in the UFO world. He's talking with the director of Age of Disclosure, and they talk about allegedly four different types of non-human intelligence. However, that's not what we're talking about. That's a little fringe. What I'm talking about is that most of the media and most of you are just basically like, oh, UFOs and UAPs. Yeah, I think I heard about that. Cool. Anyways, you see the NHL playoff game, or you watch one single video and you go, it's pixelated, whatever. Listen, this is historic. This is just a slow drip to a bigger story. We are starting to get military videos, and pretty soon we're going to get more testimony. People like David Grush, part of the more recent sort of disclosure project, and in the Congress last year and the year before, claiming that these things are real, whatever they are. And finally, we actually have another 80 videos today and 226 files showing that there's hard proof, at the very least, that we have strange objects in our skies, in our oceans, in space, doing insane maneuvers at unimaginable speeds. And you're criticizing the quality of the video and go, whatever. So, unless you're like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who says, "Show me the alien," walk in with an alien, and even then, people may not believe it. All I'm going to do is go over a few highlights from this. I spent some time doing this so that you can have the thing. And let me be absolutely clear, this is monumental because we're getting the raw files literally dumped all together in one spot, Department of War, every 2 weeks, and people just don't care. And it's like being handed a beautiful dish of food at a restaurant. You go, "Oh, how do you make that?" And the waiter's like, "Come in the back. The chef will show you all the ingredients and show you how to do it." They're like, "Nah, nah, nah. Just summarize it for me. Give me the recipe." Whatever. Anyways, keep in mind these are unresolved files, and we'll talk about that later. So let's dig into it, shall we? Cool. So the firstly, what I want to do is go over. I need to share my screen. Okay, so the first file, this is out of 2017 July in Kabul. What we're seeing here is something at incredible speeds over, filmed from I think like a drone or a high altitude. military craft, and you're going to see something just shoot by. The reason I'm showing this video is it's in that classic tic tac shape. So you're going to see it, boom, missile, whatever, but not resolved. That's the important thing. This one is the one that a lot of people are talking about. This is this is called the NAG UAP from 20, June 2020. This is a military operating camera, and you're gonna see right here the breakdown that it tries to track this thing, and it's doing incredible sort of speed. So it actually starts sort of like a maybe like an offshore oil rig, and then we see this object. Did you see that? And now we're trying to track it, and it's doing some incredible speeds. We're not going to watch the whole video, but it's moving, zigzagging, 45-degree angles, changing speed. It's actually going so fast and erratically that our military FLIR equipment can't sort of capture it. Um, and a lot of people are saying, why isn't this captured in color? Well, the reason they're doing this in sort of the infrared, you can see right here that it's finally locking on to this object. It's about 5 meters across. We don't know what it is. And from here, you're going to see it do some pretty interesting things. So it's hovering for a bit. As we zoom into this object, it almost looks like it has a structure, like a shape, like I don't know, like a jellyfish. It's a really weird thing. So I'm going to scroll forward a bit. Um, Now this is moving, and you can see it's moving with the object, and there's that sh strange shape, and it almost looks like tentacles are dropped down. And at one point near the end of the video, it just sort of takes off. So here it is zoomed in, and a lot of people are saying that it doesn't really look like an object. It almost looks like a thing, almost like it's looking around. And pretty soon you're going to see this thing just take off to the point where it's no longer in the field of view, and you zoom out and they barely know what it is. And it's shot off miles, uh, I think, to the left of this camera, and it's trying to look around going, where is it? And you can see it sort of come back into focus here. And then they lock onto it again. You can see it's moving against, that's water behind it. And there's this strange object. And once again, it just sort of takes off. And you can see it's moving fast, but it's also rotating, whatever that is. And generally, if we had, and you can see it's like a one orb rotating around it. I don't know what that is. That's literally a UFO to me, UAP. It's literally anomalous. Um, let's see if we can finish this up. I can always edit this later. Yeah, you see this object orbiting around it, and boom, takes off. So that's one of the more interesting ones. On this one, we have a spherical UAP over an Air Force base, and it's going in and out of clouds. Now this one is more of a almost like an orb. You're going to see it pop out here. Um, let's just watch it. I don't know. So you can actually see it popping out of the cloud. It's kind of got a orb shape. So they zoom in, they motion track it. So there it is there. It's we're so high it's going in and out of the clouds, which to me proves it's not ball lightning. Um, and at one point it just shoots off as well. I think here's the original video. So this is once again from military craft. You'll see this thing go in and out of the clouds. It's a unique shape. We're quite high up, and it's just kind of moving on its own. And we don't really have things that can do that. Um, let's see. This is a spherical object from 2022. You can see that it's infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military craft. So this is again some objects going at such incredible speed that the best technology we have to track these things can't. And you can see this thing just now this is zoomed in. but this is just moving at such incredible speeds, and um, I won't focus on the whole thing, but it makes crazy erratic patterns later on in the video. Let's see if we can find out what, yeah. So here it's just look at that. It's making 90-degree turns and it's moving almost like it's I don't know, alive. It's I don't know what to say, but it's interesting to say the least. Um yeah. One um is multiple spherical UAPs and USOs. Now, we haven't talked about that. USO is basically a UFO under the water, an unidentified submerged object. It's from an infrared sensor. You're going to see some interesting things happen here. So we have a military submarine, it looks like, and these objects sort of start appearing, multiple of them around this ship right here. You see them there, moving down there. Now, what's just interesting is why are these things moving away from a military ship? And how can they just pop out and into the water, you know? Now we go back to the ship because we're here to protect this ship. Um, and these things are just flying erratically around this ship, kind of causing some chaos here, you know? I just want to point out that they released it again May 22nd, and the dump is here for everyone to look it up. So there's stuff here from the CIA, Department of War, NASA. So this is an interesting one. Here's a file from NASA that says the file contained here is an independent report done in 1999 on what we would expect, if we had disclosure. And, you know, I went through this and a lot of these documents are implying that disclosure could sort of ruffle the feathers of what we know, sort of what would make people comfortable. And I think that scares a lot of people. We'll just do one more. So here's one more. This one's over land, so you can get a clear sighting of this. Um, well, this one actually is multiple orbs here. But the next video you'll see, yeah, here it is. It's traveling at incredible speeds, and then it goes over land. This thing had popped out of water, and now it's over land. And um, you know, I don't know what to think about all this. And some of these videos go on for quite a long time. So we can rule out ball lightning. We can rule out ice. These things are moving at incredible speeds. This one, the camera can't even keep up with it. It's just mind-blowing. Um, some of them, the objects are just hovering, and that's actually extra creepy. Um, some of them are time lapsed and show that they're moving incredibly slow too. So there's no rhyme or reason to this. Here's one under the water, over the water. I've seen this one here. This one's very interesting. It's it seems to be radiating light and then breaking off into several different orbs. So you see it actually has some sort of glowing pattern and it's cycling through the different infrared systems and different spectral signatures, and it's indeed not natural, whatever this is, and moving at incredible speeds, going from one object to two objects, and going in and out of the water as you want. So I'm just saying, at the very least, we need to be aware that These videos are proof that UFOs aren't nothing, and these things are traveling incredible speed that you can see right there, that our best technology can barely keep up with tracking them, even when they're going relatively slow until they just take off. Um, I saw some other footage of like triangular objects with three different things. Here's that other footage again of this thing that kind of is moving erratically, and when they zoom in, it almost, and I hate to say it, there's that drill site. It almost looks like something alive. Like it's that thing itself doesn't really look like an object. It could be, it almost looks like it's a life form. I'm just being honest. We have tons of photos. Now you're probably going to say, "Oh, look at the quality." Listen, they're going to slow drip this, but the quality, this one's cylindrical, moving 90-degree angles. We don't have things that can move like that, especially this shape. That's like a, if you look at it, just takes off and it's almost like a, I don't know, flat rectangle. So I implore everyone to take the time to go through some of these files. Look on the internet. I've just shown you a little subsection of some of the interesting things that are out there. Now, we don't have the smoking gun. Let me be very clear. These are just the unresolved files. A lot of people are going to say, show me the alien, show me the tech, show me the alien. But those aren't unidentified. Those are identified. If those exist and there is a reverse engineering program, why would they release that? Because that would ruffle the feathers. But there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of cool stuff here. I've shown you some. The resolution isn't perfect, but these are official UFOs, UAPs. They're not swamp gas. They're not ball lightning. They're not whatever else a lazy skeptic claims they might be. These are real objects presenting real questions. So now we've got, you know, almost, I don't know, how many files we have, like, we have around 100 videos now. They did have a video of the object that was shot down over Lake Huron a few years ago. It kind of looks like a balloon. I didn't even show it. The orbs I showed you, the Coast Guard infrared. There's a NASA and Apollo stuff. Um, a lot of those sites, the one that I showed you of it flying over the land was over a nuclear site. There's Apollo astronaut testimony. Um, this is, they call it controlled disclosure, meaning they're kind of picking and choosing what they're letting go. So the one of the things I mentioned, Apollo, is the Apollo 12 streaks of light. So during a post-flight medical debrief from the Apollo 12 mission, astronauts Pete Conrad, Richard Gordon, and Alan Bean described repeatedly seeing streaks of light while trying to sleep in deep space. The flashes appeared with their eyes closed. They seemed like bright burst streaks, and they were noticed enough that the crew discussed them afterwards. Now, NASA says maybe it's cosmic rays and stuff, but they said no. Now, there's also a Gemini 7, the Frank Borman's boogie, 1965 Gemini 7 mission. He said he saw hundreds of metallic particles floating nearby. And the famous Apollo 17 triangular dots, and could be just orbs moving together, or it could show the framework on each corner of a triangular object. These were formed in formation. They had a structure. It looked like it was near the moon. Um, I don't know how to explain that stuff. Buzz Aldrin is also referenced in here, saying that the object, he has said over the years the object might have been part of the spacecraft, you know, but still, these are in these files. So all I'm going to say is we still don't have the smoking gun. We have more files, more interesting things showing erratic behavior. There's more to come. All I'm saying is it's now time for the mainstream media to dig through this, scientists to dig through this, and look at the raw data is there. Tell us how about you start with what we know it's not. and then we can figure out what it might be. Because to be honest, the truth is out there. We just need more people to participate. All right, I had finished that video, but I realized that people do want to see that speculative stuff, that juicy stuff. So I'm going to show you a couple things that have come up. First of all, one of the videos that came up is really cool. I'm going to share with you that. Show you this. This is called the Spore UFO. It's in the files from today. So we're already traveling at Mach something, 2 or 3, actually Mach 5 right there, really fast. And then look how fast this thing takes off right here. Whoop, choom. This is a real video. What the hell was that? Right? What can take off at that speed? Look at that again. It basically goes into warp drive and takes off at almost the speed of light. Something else that's weird is this video. It looks like so this is a vice admiral talking. And there's other videos of him talking on the internet, but if you look right here, it looks like whoever this person is talking about UFOs appears to be wearing a very, very, very good mask. Could be nothing, could be something, but why do that, you know? I think what we're getting is a slow drip disclosure, meaning they're showing us certain things now and then more and building to the point where we have the capacity to accept this. Once again, this is monumental to even see these kind of videos. Whatever these things are clearly not swamp gas, not ball lightning, and technology that we don't possess. Are these aliens? You can't say yes or no. But whatever that thing was, and whatever the rest of these things are, pretty weird. We'll follow the story. I just wanted to share with you some cool stuff that's been in the news, in the files. There's no smoking gun yet, but we are getting videos from the CIA, from the FBI, from the Department of War, from NASA, showing things that no one could explain. But the things that can be explained, they don't have to show us. So until next time, see you in 2 weeks. And I guess it's the difference between the truth is out there and I want to believe. See ya. Doodly 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 doo. Doodly doodly doo. Do do do.